In this video, we will discuss about variables and their usage. Variables are like containers which are used for storing the data. When we create a variable, a unique memory space is allocated to it, which we will discuss in details later in pointer. The value assigned to a variable can be changes any time and any number of times during the execution of the program. We need to declare a variable before we could really use it. There are different types of data types with which we need to declare a variable. We will discuss some of the data types here. String data type is used to store text values such as "Hello World." All string values are surrounded by double quotes. Int data type is used to store integers without decimals values, such as 23 or -42. Double data type is used to store floating point numbers with the decimals values, such as 10.20 or -20.65. Char data type is used to store single characters, such as I or C. Char values are surrounded by single quotes. Bool data type is used to store either true or false as values. So let's check the different data types using a program by declaring and initializing the values for them. String name equals hello world. Int I equals 10. Double D equals 10.20. Char C equals A. Boolean B equals true. Now let's try printing them and check the values as output. We can see that the output is printed correctly as per the values initialized. As we know that Boolean returns I for true and 0 for false. So the output for Boolean is 1. There are certain rules for declaring a variable. 1. The variable name should contain only letters, digits, and underscores. 2. The variable name must begin with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with a digit. 3. The variable names are case sensitive, means hello and hello both are different variable. 4. The variable name cannot contain any white space and special characters like hashtag $%*, etc. 5. We cannot use C++ keyword like case, catch, or public as a variable name. To declare a variable, we specify the data type of the variable followed by its name, and they assign a value to it. We can declare one variable or multiple variable at a time. For a single variable, we can just define the data type and name of the variable and may assign the value while declaration or later. in the program. For example, we can declare the value for marks as int marks equals 90 or later by first declaring it as int marks, and later assigning a value 90 to it. For multiple variable declaration of the same type, we can go with how we had declared the single variable, by defining it multiple times, or we can declare as a comma-separated declaration as can be as part of the syntax. As discussed in the previous slide, that the value of a variable can be changed anytime during runtime of the program if required. The same we can see here through a program where the value of marks was initially initialized as 80 and later on the value of marks was changes by reassigning a new value to it as 90. So when we are printing the values of marks, we can see two values as 80 and 90 respectively. Similarly, we can change the value of the variable any number of times if required by the program logic, instead of creating new variable every time. Let's check the variable declaration and modification through a program. We can declare three variables separately and assign a value to them. Adding print statements to print the values of the variables. When executed, it prints the values for all the three variables correctly. Let's try to change the way of declaration and check out the behavior.
Variable marks C is initialized without a value.
The value is assigned later. The behavior is same when we print the results. C still has value of 99. Let's add two more variable marks D and marks E in the same line as marks A. We can declare multiple variables of the same data type in single line. Marks D is initialized without a value and marks E is assigned a value as 85. Marks D is later assigned a value as 98. Once we run the program, we see the output of all the variable getting printed correctly. Now, instead of directly assigning value to marks D, let's assign it the value of marks A plus 5. So the value of marks D will become 90 plus 5 is equal to 95. We can see the same as output for marks D. Now change the value of the variable marks A by assigning a new value as 97. When we print the value of marks A, we see that the previous once remains as 95, but once the new value is assigned to it, the values which is getting printed now is 97. The value 97 will be the value f variable marks A for the remaining part of the program unless changed further. This is how we declare, initialize, and modify a variable in C++. Identifiers basically represents unique names that are given to a variable within a program. We should always try to use descriptive name for identifiers as it helps to understand the purpose of the variable being used, and also the code is easy to maintain. For example, in the program the descriptive identifier is marks in maths, as we can easily identify that it's taking about the marks which a student has got in maths subject. Whereas the non-descriptive identifier is variable marks, which doesn't tells us clearly the marks identifier stores value for which subject.